a brilliant humorist and storyteller, my very good friend, Mr. Dylan Brody.
You want to sort it out before I get started? Because I got time.
I just don't want any more spills.
Oh, nice. Thank you for monitoring other audience members for their behavior in public. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of my target demographic. And apparently annoying coffee clutch. Before I get started, let me just explain something to you people over here. I understand that you have been trained by a lifetime of comedy clubs and performers to believe that we enjoy the live interactive experience. That's something we say to endear ourselves to audiences. We would all much prefer to be on television where we can't hear you. And I understand, I'm not angry at you. Please do not think I am angry at you. I understand that the consistency of font size on the internet has led you to believe that every thought down at the bottom of the page is just as important as the ones that came from the person who had thought out their original posting. But the fact that you paid a great deal of money to come in does not mean that you are seated in the fucking comments section. And I'm quite sure that you would never go to the ballet and sit up front going, I wonder what time they're going to get to the pas de deux. When do you think the pas de deux starts? And if you think that what these people, these young people who are up here before me do takes any less concentration and focus and poise than what you see at the ballet, you are out of your goddamn minds. This is hard work. And I know there has been an anti-intellectual sway in this country that started with Ronald Reagan and has lived up until now. I know that half-hour sitcoms on television have taught you that everything is going to be just fine as long as it is exactly the same at the end as it was at the beginning, which, by the way, it is if you've been watching sitcoms or talking through the show you paid to see. Now, I am not angry at you for this because this is the fault of society. This is the fault of a society that puts out cop shows that are goddamn morality tales in 43-minute hours telling everybody that the status quo must be maintained. I know that Forrest Gump came out and it was hailed as a genius piece of work, and everybody's critical facilities have been so undermined by them that nobody noticed that the point of the movie was that if you explore the world and if you try to grow beyond your current knowledge, you will get AIDS and die. And if you become a leader and you care about the people who follow you, you will have your legs taken from you and wind up an angry, bitter cripple. And that we can have a noble view of a history that was born in genocide and built on slave labor if we can all just learn to see it through the eyes of a complete fucking moron. I know! Woo! You're talking! Do you not notice that when you look at the other person's everyone up here, the light and the microphone is in the hands of the person who should have your focus? And it's not just because I'm a narcissist and you're pretty. It's the social structure we've all agreed to, except you people who said, we are going out for conversation, let's sit in the front! Okay, right there I was angry for a moment. I apologize. There are a couple of pieces of housekeeping I have to take care of before I get down. town?
No, I am not from out of town. But I think you're great, so go on.
Oh, good, because your approval is what I've been seeking. Jesus It's okay, sir. I got it. I appreciate it, but I got it. Okay, some housekeeping before we get started. First of all, I would like to apologize if I'm perpetually wiping my upper lip while I perform. When I perform, I sweat like Chris Christie putting on his socks. Also, I may from time to time need to wipe my nose because allergies have hit me to things in New York that we do not have in Los Angeles, apparently. And so my sinuses are running like Trump trying to defend anything he's done in his life. I know someone was talking earlier about the debates, and I promise I will get to my incredibly intellectual long stories that I'm sure will go over big over here in a little while. But I do want to take a moment to say something for those of you who find Donald Trump utterly baffling whenever he speaks. If you wish to understand what is going on when Donald Trump speaks, simply imagine that all of his speeches were written by conservative douche nozzle David Mamet. They will suddenly make a great deal more sense. I'm very rich. No, I mean money. I could be president. I am telling you I could be president. These are David Mamet lines, 100%, except last night, when apparently he got way too stoned right before the debate and then tried to fix it by doing a bunch of blow. So he found himself on national television in a split screen with the most competent candidate we have ever had for president. As he uncontrollably devolved into a character from David Raid's Hurley Burley. No, and I'll tell you another thing, Lester. Let me tell you another thing, Lester. I got a hooker in my trunk right now. It was amazing to watch. Another couple of pieces of housekeeping. Judy, you are wonderful. I want you to open for me everywhere I go. Joyce, thank you for the opening of this evening. I like it when I do a comedy club that feels as though it's an NPR station and we've all showed up for the pledge drive. Michael, I cannot thank you enough for the work you did. Where the hell is Michael?
Right over here. I'm watching them now. I'm judging.
You're supposed to be over there, man. That freaked me out. Thank you for putting this evening together and for not having hair as good as mine. And the people who performed before me, I'm now a fan of Ndidi and Sasha and DF, and I have to look up everything they've ever done. There has been some terrific work up on this stage tonight, so I would just like to apologize for what's to come. Those of you who are familiar with my work, and really who isn't, will know that many of my stories can be long and heavy in multi-textured shades of gray, like the prominent proboscis of the ponderous pachyderm. Each piece I present this evening, by contrast, and to maintain the mammalian metaphor, is little more than a bit or two of gerbil fuzz, a beat or two of verbal jazz. Each a twist of the wit, a trick of the tongue, a tantalizing taste of linguistic terpsichore. Think of them all as pithy parcels of prosodic prestidigitation, if you will. If you won't, you're a bunch of anti-Semitic bastards. And before I begin the first one, I would like to say that it is a great joy to be in New York supporting the Tanenbaum Foundation, an organization that is dedicated to interfaith alliance and understanding and respect for all religions, even the very silly ones. I think we all know which ones I'm talking about. It was an act of genius on Michael's part to think, well, they're into interfaith understanding, I'll hire an atheist. I am so thoroughly an atheist that when people tell me they believe in God, I don't really believe them. I like what you guys are doing because I think peace is inherently a good thing. That's going to make a headline tomorrow. Public speaker comes out in favor of peace. And I oppose slavery. So thank you all for all that you do. I don't know if you all are familiar. The Tanenbaum Foundation has been around since 1580, when the Jewish Tanenbaum family licensed their name for use in a song about Christmas carols. Now, occasionally throughout this evening's performance, you are going to see this thing happen where I suddenly pause in the middle of a sentence and seem confused. That's because the conversations to my left are phenomenally distracting. And I am a right-brain thinker. So I'm working creatively, desperately working creatively to provide entertainment, while there's input coming over from here suggesting constantly that I do math. But I don't want to keep engaging it, because clearly then they think it's a fucking conversation. I know it's not their fault. It's all the goddamn comics and history of guys. Where are you from? What do you do for a living? Just so you'll know, I don't care where you're from or what you do for a living. Go back to that tomorrow. Right now, your audience. You are a monolithic entity that I hope will not tear me to shreds after the show, physically, for anything I have done. That's all I care about. And it doesn't. You can laugh or you can tolerate. I don't care. Either way, I get my $32 I go home. I will explain this. If you laugh, I do like 50 minutes, and I get off stage. And if you tolerate, I do 4 fucking hours. The first piece I would like to present this evening is a poem. Because I am booked and hired as a humorist and storyteller, there are contractual obligations. So I will tell you the story of how I came to write this poem. And with any luck, it will be humorous. 2 springs ago, that is 2 years ago in spring, to paraphrase the great and living Arlo Guthrie, I had to go from my home in Sylmar, California, to West Hollywood, California, for a meeting with a producer who wanted to give me notes on a screenplay he had previously said was perfect. For those of you who are not in the entertainment industry, I should explain, producers are very much like dogs. The more they like a thing, the more they feel the need to pee on it. And this producer likes me a lot. So I had to go to West Hollywood to be figuratively peed on, which is one of the top 10 reasons people go to West Hollywood. And irony in that literally being peed on, one of the top 3. So I got up early. Before I could go, I had to walk the dog. I live at the confluence of the mighty 118 and the majestic 210. It's not a crap neighborhood. It's crap neighborhood adjacent, and I live in a townhouse that I share with my 2 dogs, Sir Corin, the beautiful dog-faced dog, Brindle Beast of Sylmar, and Lord Buckley Sweet Lips, greatest of all Dane Much, the dinosaur slaying dog, and my lovely wife, whose name escapes me at the moment. So I was getting ready to go, and Lord Buckley said, I need to walk first, so I put him on his leash. And we live in this townhouse complex, so we have to walk the dogs beyond the confines of the townhouse complex where our neighbors have actual houses, actual lawns. I clean up after them when they relieve themselves, because I'm a nice guy. My dogs, not my neighbors. Nobody's that nice a guy, really. And there's a particular lawn that they love. So Lord Buckley led me directly to his favorite lawn, began sniffing around for the ideal place to relieve himself, which, by the way, is a burden that humans do not face. We don't have to smell the whole apartment and choose a room. So don't yell at your dog when he's taking a little while. He's got responsibilities. As he's looking for a place, it turned out that the house behind this lawn that was my dog's favorite had recently changed ownership. So the man who had newly purchased the house came out and said, "That's my lawn." Now, I do not play the passive-aggressive guess my intent game. Moreover, my dogs have loved this lawn far longer than he has owned the house. So we feel entitled to you. We have, as it were, squatters' rights. So rather than engaging him in an argument, I said, "That's my dog." He repeated, "That's my lawn." I restated, "That's my dog." He stepped forward toward me, getting louder and clearer and slower and angrier, and said, "That's my lawn." I considered reaffirming ownership of the dog. But I was beginning to fear that he would think there was really something wrong with me. So I took a different tack. And for the record, tack is the correct word there. It is an idiomatic sailing term. It refers to a way where a sailor can navigate, can turn the sails and travel in directions not directly parallel to the prevailing winds. My point is, if you have been saying take a different tact, people like me have been judging you harshly. And apparently Michael. So my point is, I went a different way. I said, "I'm sorry, I don't speak English." He said, "You gotta be kidding." I said, "No." When I kid you, there will be humor content. I don't speak any English at all. He said, "But we're speaking English right now." I said, "I realize this could be confusing. I've learned several words and phrases phonetically. I'm told I have a pretty good ear for accents. The result is an illusion of conversationalism, fluency even. But the fact of the matter is, I have no idea what either of us has been saying throughout this entire exchange." While I offered up this little diatribe, Lord Buckley hunched up like a tiny kangaroo and relieved himself on his lawn. I collected the excrement in a plastic bag because I'm a nice guy. I walked toward the man and I said, "If you want this, I won't have it bronzed." He gestured vaguely toward his trash cans. I said, "I'll just throw it in the trash cans over here then." And he stepped forward, putting up a finger, and yelled at me as though he had actually won in this exchange, "I knew you spoke English. I knew it, I knew it, I knew it." I turned back, matched his inflection, his tone, his volume, his gesture, and listed English words that should be Yiddish but aren't. Moisenhassel, Kettelfeld, spatula, spatula, spatula. out the refuse, went home. And then I put on a suit to go to this meeting. And before I could leave, my elder dog, Sir Corwin, said I would like to go. Yeah, I know which one is younger and which one is elder. That's how I keep track of them. I was asked by my elder dog to take him for a walk. I put him on his leash, and he led me directly to his favorite lawn. And the man saw a different dog on the lawn. I had changed clothes. And frankly, Sir Corwin is a striking and novel. His father was a 210-pound Neapolitan Mastiff, and his mother was the world's most satisfied pug. The man came tearing out of his house, and then realized I was that same guy, and froze in his tracks. So I grinned at him like we were old friends about to engage in yet another round of our favorite game, and I said, "That's my dog." And he said, "There is really something wrong with you," and went back inside. Apparently that's the tack I should have taken to begin with. And then I cleaned up after my dog, threw away the refuse, and put him at home, and I drove down to West Hollywood for this meeting. Now, a thing you should know about me is this. I am compulsively punctual, but I am also neurotically status conscious. So I tend to get places very early, but then I don't want to be seen as the first guy who arrived. So I found myself in West Hollywood, the heart of gay Los Angeles, dressed for a meeting with about an hour to kill. Men, listen to me now if you get nothing else from this evening. Take this piece of advice. If you ever feel past your prime, if you ever feel unattractive, if you ever feel as though your moment has slipped by you, you need to be less rumpled or taller or thinner. Dress up like you have an important meeting. Go to West Hollywood. It's worth the airfare. Spend an hour in a coffee house. Oh my God, it was awesome. I was getting checked out like the Kama Sutra at a middle school library. I'm not particularly homophobic, so for me, this was just lovely. You know, that doesn't hurt me. As long as my ego is all that's getting stroked, I'm perfectly comfortable with it. Homophobia is a fear and a form of bigotry that I have never understood at all. I don't understand what there is to fear about gay men. I don't get it. It's not as though there are packs of gay men roaming the countryside, blowing straight men against their will. Never happened, people. You know how we know it never happened? Because no man has ever been blown against his will. I think we all know fellatio is like birthday cake. You don't get it that often. When you do, you don't care if it's not exactly the kind you were hoping for. I'm a happily married heterosexual man. If someone makes an offer, they got a fairly close shave. I gotta think about it before I give a straight up or down answer. That's all I'm saying. Anyone who has watched Bravo in the last 15 years knows gay is the new black, people. Oh my God, I cannot stop watching Project Runway. Tim Gunn, he seems like a very sweet mensch of a man. I don't have a homosexual bone in my body, but if I did, I think it would be his. The homophobes of the world keep coming up with reasons to justify their hate, finding ways to discriminate, and then throwing them against the wall to see what'll stick. And it's always absurd when you look at it. When the first Clinton was in office, let that be true. Let that be true. if it is not true, then thank you all for having this moment with me in the final days of the Weimar Republic. When the first plan was, it was all about whether we could have gays in the military. Oh, they can't have gays in the military. And they had to make up excuses because they knew they couldn't just go on television and say, hey, we're not saying these men can't fight. We're saying when we think a lot about what they do at home, it makes us go, that doesn't fly. So that, oh, we have to keep gays out. It'll hurt morale if we let gays in the military, and that was the stupidest argument ever. It's not going to hurt morale. All right, look. You find yourself in the hills of Afghanistan under heavy fire. Don't you think the guy next to you is more likely to save your life if he's in love with you? I don't care what he thinks he's saving my ass for, just as long as my ass is getting saved. If my life is on the line, I want to be the most popular guy in the barracks. Candy and flowers for everybody. Hello, sailor. And then it was gay. This is what I'm thinking about. Because I was in West Hollywood. It was the day that we were going to hear from the Supreme Court about the marriage ruling. And that was another, oh, we have to protect the sanctity of marriage. No, that's not what you're trying to do. If you wanted to protect the sanctity of marriage, you wouldn't prevent people who love each other from getting married. You would outlaw divorce and unanticipated weight gain. Such utter crap. It was that day we were going to hear from, and sitting at a table near me were two men. They were each at a different table. They were not together yet. And they each had a sketchbook out. And they were each indulging the same fantasy, but they were coming at it from different directions. These two men were designing their ideal wedding garb. One of them was putting together a sketch of a tuxedo with a veil and a train. The other one was putting together a wedding dress with a bow tie and a cummerbund. And I saw them starting to get interested in one another's sketches. And I was reminded in vivid detail of the second time I came to New York to hear my sister speak on a college campus. The first time I heard my sister speak, this is a funny story if we're lucky. The first time I came east, I went to hear her speak up at Columbia. This was Ronald Reagan was president, though he did not know it at the time. And there are some audiences get very uncomfortable with that joke because it's about dementia, and that's tragic. You shouldn't make jokes. It's my grandmother died of dementia, and she is the one who said to me, Dylan, we are Jews. We do not believe in tragedy. We believe in horror, atrocity, and injustice. And we recognize them all as hilarious. Of course, she also said we must never forget. So, oh, you gonna gangrone me now? She was so, the last time I saw her, it was very sad because it had just started to hit her, and she'd reached that point in the disease where, like, she knew who I was, but every time she saw me, she thought it was my birthday and gave me $5. So it was just exhausting to keep going in and out of that room. And for the record, people, that is not a self-loathing, anti-Semitic joke about a cultural relationship with money that values it above humanity. That is a self-loathing, anti-capitalist joke about a society that values money over humanity. Every conversation at that moment in her life, every conversation, oh, that's okay. I'll stop talking about that if you like. You don't have to throw things. It'll be fine. Every conversation with her had turned into a bizarre, surreal 1970s game show, and it was just a delight to do. I was in that place with the buildings and the smell. Manhattan, yes! I was with that lady with the bad breath. Aunt Sarah, no, long, boring stories. Insufferable human. Your best friend Katie, yes! We saw that man. He used to be horrible in New York, and then he was horrible all over the country, and now he's horrible from space. Howard Stern, yes! Congratulations, Grandma. You're going on to the dementia pyramid. Who are you people? Things you shout at dinner. Where am I? Things you say in the bathroom. Ed Asner, Benjamin Netanyahu, people you mistake for your dead ex-husband? And she used to be so great. She was so, when I was young, oh man, when I was young, I went to her one day, I said, Grandma, I'm going to camp, I'm going to ride horses, I'm going to play guitar without missing a beat. She said, really? I went to a camp once. Spent 9 months of my life in a yard with the gypsies and the queers, playing liar's poker. Pair of threes. My grandfather picked up the joke. He immediately saw the value. He said, that's when I fell in love with her. You know how smart you have to be to win with the same numbers every day. Besides, I always liked skinny gals. I saw her across the yard. I said, my God, her tights are loose. And I realized she wasn't wearing tights. Oh, fuck you people. I am wearing my grandfather's wedding ring right now. My wife wears my grandmother's ring. It was the most romantic night of our marriage, the night that she and I went out and dug up my grandparents and stole their jewelry. In any case, Reagan was officially president at the time. And my sister was speaking at Columbia the first time I saw her here. She was, I don't know if you will remember this. I'm not saying that because I don't think this crowd is old enough to remember. I had some conversations before the show, and I think there may be some memory issues. He had a welfare reform proposal that was based on the concept that the best way to discourage people from being poor is to take away their money. So my sister took this very, very personally. I should explain. My sister is gay. I love her like a brother. And she is the single mother of a beautiful daughter who was deliberately conceived in a loving act between my sister and a turkey baster that was briefly filled with mail-ordered sperm. Just one of the reasons I will not do Thanksgiving dinner at my sister's place. And she was briefly on government assistance, not because she is a slacker or because she is lazy. She had been fired from her bartending job when they found out that she had been breastfeeding her infant in a back room on her breaks. At an establishment, mind you, that proudly displays posters of the Coors Girls. Because we live in a bizarre society where it's okay to use breasts to sell beer, but not to feed children. So she was speaking at Columbia, and I went up to see her. And then afterwards, it was about 11:30 at night, and I left the Columbia University campus, and I went across town to get a bus that would take me back downtown to the place where I was staying with a friend. A lovely woman from Texas who I would occasionally sleep with, not because I particularly liked her, but because just at the point of orgasm, she would say, "I'm fixing to come." And I thought that was the most adorable thing ever. If you can hear someone say that, you don't pass it up. So I found myself waiting for a bus in the middle of January, much farther north on the island of Manhattan than any young middle-class white man had any right to be in the early 80s, nearing midnight. It was very cold. I remember my breath steaming in the night air. And a large African-American man came out of the building behind me, sat down next to me. Well, it was the early 80s, so it was still a big black guy. Came out of the building. And we sat together with our breaths steaming in the night air. And after about 5 minutes, he said, give me all your money. And I said, what? And he said, I'm mugging you. And I said, well, do you have a knife or something? And he said, if you want, I could go and get it. I did not want that. So I gave him the $6 that I had on me at the time. And then we sat together with our breaths steaming in the night air until I realized there was a problem. And I said, well, now I can't get on the bus. And he said, oh, sorry. And handed back $1, which was at the time the cost of a bus ride on the ultimate. And I said, thank you. To my mother. And we sat together with our breaths steaming in the night air. Until the bus came, and I got on, I fed my $1 into the machine, and he got on behind me. I thought about saying to the bus driver, hey, this guy just mugged me. But now it was $5, and he hadn't had a knife. So it felt less like reporting a crime than telling on a guy. I sat down on the bus, he paid $1, got on, sat a few rows behind me as we headed off into the night. He came back up, tapped me on the shoulder. I said, what? And he held out 2 of the remaining $4 and said, well, why don't you take half of this money back? You really always ought to have some cash on you. And that seemed sensible. So I took the $2. And again, I said, thank you to my mother. And then after a few more blocks, he rang the bell. Yes, he rang the bell and shouted the news to the town. He pulled the string that rings the bell, tells the guy to pull over. Oh, thank you so much. Whoever sent this to me, thank you so much. She walked away. Come back here. Come back here.
$2.
Thank you. You can get that back to me later. Tip your way, tribe people. As he got off, he tapped me on the shoulder. I said, what? And he held out the last $2 and said, why don't you take the rest of this back? I really just needed bus fare. And it occurred to me that we live in a bizarre society where it's less humiliating to be a criminal than a little short on cash. But by now I felt like I had bonded with my mother. So I pushed the last $2 back into his hand and said, why don't you hang on to that? You really always ought to have some cash on you. And my mother thanked me. And the bus driver caught the tail end of this conversation, and apparently she was a regular Republican, because as we pulled away from the curb, she said, you know, you really shouldn't give them poor people money. It only encourages them. But that's not the story about going to hear my sister speak that I was going to tell you this evening. And I'm sorry, so I've got to do this very fast. Because you've laughed, so I don't want to do 4 hours, but I do want to at least finish the thought. The second time I went to hear my sister speak, it was Bush, and he was pushing the marriage incentive based on the concept that nothing will instill in a woman a sense of financial self-sufficiency and independence like a state-mandated marriage of fiduciary convenience. And she was speaking down at NYU on Halloween evening. And I found myself, as you may or may not know, I am compulsively punctual and neurotically status conscious. So I found myself in the West Village on Halloween evening with about an hour to kill. If any of you have ever felt a little out of the norm, a little off-center, and as though you can never be accepted by society, spend Halloween evening in the West Village. Oh my God, it is a festival of fabulous. Men who've been out of the closet for years have found deeper, darker closets with new wardrobe to pull out and try on. And, I was going to hear my sister speak. I found myself standing at a crosswalk, waiting for the light to change, and right next to me was a leather cup. It was a leather guy in a vest and a cop's hat and combat boots, and his slave who was in I can only describe it as a suede scrotal sling and a collar. And I knew he was the slave because the other guy was holding his leash. And I looked at them and I smiled and I thought, oh, that's nice. If you wait long enough and you're open enough to the possibilities, anyone can find someone to love who will love you back for exactly who you are. And then another couple came frolicking past us dressed as sperm for the holiday. They were wearing white leotards and tights and long toilet paper tails that spiraled out behind them like ribbons. And in case we couldn't tell what they were singing sperm, glorious sperm, as they, I don't know the whole song, ha, jizz in my mustache, whatever it was, off the street. And the leather boy slave turned to the leather boy master and said, freaks. And it occurred to me that we live in a wonderful world where if you wait long enough and you're open enough to the possibilities, anyone can find somebody to judge harshly for their life decisions. And this flashed through my mind as I'm sitting in this West Hollywood coffee house waiting for my meeting, and there are these two men who are looking at one another's sketches, and they're getting closer and closer. They're looking at each other's work, and they're forming a connection. Any other day, they might have rolled their eyes and judged one another harshly and walked away. But today, they were waiting to hear from the Supreme Court on the ridiculous litigation of the marital semantic. Today, they were living in that moment of suspended possibility when anything could happen. And I thought perhaps I was seeing the beginning of a relationship that could become a legal marriage and possibly last through 2 beautiful, caring lifetimes. And that's when I wrote this poem with which I'd like to start tonight's set. It's called Corner of Starbucks and Christopher Street. Sharpie marked cups play name tag. Rich, dark Colombian meets slightly bitter French. A pretentious morning blend, they come together and claim to seek no more than the sweet foam and the hot macchiato. Thank you.